Alright YouTube, welcome back to another video. So first things first this morning, cardio. We have a 45-minute AMRAP that consists of 1k ski, 1k row and 2k urge bike. So yeah, let's get it done. Right, so that is workout complete. We are off home now to whip up meal one, and then we've got some filming to do this morning. Alright, is it picking up my Swede? No. Fucking hell, mate, look like baldy there. Here we are. Alright, champs, we have got meal one. So, right here, 4 whole eggs. Not sure if you can see, because it's on the face. 4 whole eggs with 200 gram of egg white, and then we have 100 gram of oats with 30 gram of whey and just some cinnamon in that. So yeah, we're gonna eat this quickly now, get ready, and then we are heading off to another gym. We have got some filming to do with videographer Ben for a brand new pre-workout supplement brand. We did do a promo for it a few weeks back, but yeah, Ben basically didn't follow the script for what the owner wanted. So even though the edit was sick, we basically got to go back and do it again. So yeah, I'm helping him out this morning with that. And then yeah, we'll probably just head to a coffee shop and crack on with some work. Right, so we have just arrived at the gym. Now, as I said, we are gonna be doing a little bit of filming for a brand new supplement brand. I think, well, I say supplement brand, I think it's literally just a pre-workout product. We already did film an initial promo, but like I said, videographer Ben, he fucked up. He didn't follow the script, right? So we got to do it again. So that is why we're here. It's only going to take like half an hour, say. So it'll be a quick in and out. I don't think I'm going to train, because I'll be honest, well, even though I was technically training earlier, I was doing my cardio. That's just to keep me in routine. I have felt so fucking fatigued this week. So yeah, I think I'm going to take the weekend off, because I'm starting with a new coaching on Monday, which again is something I'll speak about later on. So I think I might just take a weekend of rest prior to hitting it hard from Monday. But yeah, all in all though, just a quick one on this pre-workout product. I did give it a go and I did try it prior to obviously filming the promo, because I had to be seen scooping it into the shaker and then drinking it. But honestly, like, bearing in mind I don't know the guy who owns this, and I'm not paid to say this or anything like that, that pre-workout product, it was pretty bang on. I'll be honest, it was very, very good. So I'll see if I can get a visual of it for when I'm in the gym for you. But try it out, right? Try it out. It is very, very good. Right, YouTube, since we last spoke, I essentially went straight from the gym to a coffee shop, and I've been working there since. I onboarded a few new starters. I then joined the pre-script call for the week. Got mind fucked again for another hour. I'll be honest though, the course is slowly starting to all kind of piece together, if that makes sense. Like, things are starting to sound familiar. Things are starting to make sense. So yeah, it's getting a lot easier. It's getting a lot easier, but I tell you what, biomechanics is hard. This is something in which you need to continually study afterwards. And then we also priced up Bali. So for those of you that don't know, I think I might have mentioned it on a previous few videos, I do plan to go to Bali start of this year. Start of Feb to around mid-April, I want to be in Bali by. Just spend a little bit of time out there, kind of see what the place is like, see what it has to offer. Obviously, it is a very big spot for online coaches, so I'm hoping to go out there, meet some people, network, etc., mainly just to get a little bit of sun as well, in all honesty, because the UK, it's a miserable place to be right now. So started pricing that up in regards to, like, right, prices for Airbnbs, flights, etc. As well as that, there are also 2 Hyrox races in Southeast Asia across that time in which I may hit up, and that is Taiwan and
Thailand. So with Taiwan, that would be end of Feb, and with Thailand, Bangkok, that would be end of March. So potentially looking to hit up one of them, definitely one of them, if not both, depending on when I feel ready, right? Like I said, I'm starting with the new Hyrox coach next week, and I'm just gonna full send this, right? I'm gonna full send this. I still will have resistance training as like the backbone of my routine, but with not getting the time in which I wanted for Excel, getting injured afterwards, taking a little bit of a hit and a setback with that, I feel like I have some sort of redemption arc now when it comes to Hyrox. I feel like I need to redeem myself a little bit with that 120 solo in which I got back in December. So this is going to be a bit of a redemption arc. This may potentially be a new YouTube series, or at least something in which we document throughout the weekly videos. I've set myself a pretty unrealistic goal this year, and I will get on to goal setting at the end of this video, because that is something in which I want to speak to you around. I feel like I can share a lot of value in which will help a lot of people when it comes to setting out their goals, setting out their vision plan for 2026. And I will be speaking to you around some of the pretty unrealistic goals in which I've set myself and why I've set myself them goals. So I'll speak to you soon.
Right, all right, boys, so goal setting, let's keep this simple, let's keep this bite size, and let's just break it down for you. Hopefully I can add some value here to your 2026, and hopefully after this you take a little bit of time to yourself over the weekend or whenever you may be watching this, and you sit down in a nice quiet room with no distractions and you write out your goals for 2026, and you're very clear on what you want to achieve this year. So why are goals good? First and foremost, well, they get you waking up with actionables each and every day, with non-negotiables in which you need to box off, with a game plan for that day of knowing what you need to do in order to progress, move forward, and ultimately achieve your goal. Especially if you're someone watching this right now who may be coming into this year lacking direction, no fulfillment in life, feel like you have no purpose day to day, then set goals. Setting goals is what's going to get you waking up with that motivation. That's going to get you rolling out of bed each and every morning with a plan of action. What's going to get you working harder. At the end of each and every year, I'll always take a few weeks to just write out my goals, write out my vision plan for the following year, what it is I want to achieve, what I want to get out of that year, what I want to get out of life ultimately. So first and foremost, how should you set goals? Now, I would put my goals into categories, right? I would have a goal architecture. So I would have business goals, personal goals, physical goals, education goals, and goals that scare me. So personal goals would be personal goals, right? Pretty self-explanatory. That could be something in which you want to achieve for yourself, something in which you want to quit, say. So for example, last year, for me, I wanted to quit vaping. I managed to do that. Superb, brilliant. What do I want to do this year? I want to quit Monsters. I want to quit these fucking nicotine pouches, right? Because despite the fact that I quit vaping last year, I had to do it off the back of starting nicotine pouches. So the fact that I managed to quit one disgusting habit led to another. And that is now something in which I'm wanting to quit within the first 30 days of this year. And that's something in which I'll get onto later in terms of the time frame in which we set for these goals. Business goals now, of course, that could be business, work related, whatever it may be. Whether you want to earn X amount of monthly revenue, or whether you want to get X amount of clients, or whether you want to get X amount of sales, whatever it is that you do, they could be your business goals, right? Physical goals now, what do you want to achieve physically throughout your training, your health and your fitness? So for me this year, I want to stay anywhere between 84 to 88 kg lean. I want to stay anywhere within that, because I know that that is going to be me lean with a six pack, looking my best and feeling great. I also want to run a 5K in sub 20 minutes. I got a 5K last year in 20 minutes, 20 seconds, I believe. So I want to get my 5K down to around about 19 minutes. I'll be pretty happy with that. And well, that's another one as well. I fumbled my Hyrox back end of last year as well, my first ever Hyrox solo. So my goal for this year, and I suppose you could put this in the category as well of goals that scare you, but I want to run a sub 60 Hyrox, and I would love to get a podium placing in one of my Hyrox races this year. I want to get a Hyrox flag. Now, that again is something which I'll speak about later around setting goals in which are almost a little bit too far-fetched, a little bit too out of reach, but they're my physical goals this year. Now, education goals. Now, with my job comes a lot of education, right? You have to continue studying to get ahead of the game, to become a better coach, to achieve better results. So my educational goals this year, as you know, as you've just seen, I'm currently on the Prescript level 1. This year, I want to complete that Prescript level 1, which I will do by February. And then I want to sign up to Prescript level 2 and also Prescript nutrition. I want to complete both of them courses by the end of the year as well. And then goals that scare you, right? That could be absolutely anything, really, whatever it is that scares you, realistically, right? It's kind of in the name. Now, when setting these goals that scare you, I'm not going to share mine because they're very, very personal to me. But I'll be completely real with you. When I was writing down these goals, and I only wrote down 3. I only wrote down 3 goals in which scare me, because if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority, right? So I just wanted 3 major goals that scare me this year. And I felt physically sick in my stomach when I was writing down them goals, because that's how much they scared me. It was as if my heart sunk into my stomach and I felt sick, like I felt physically sick. If you're setting goals that scare you and they don't make you feel like that, then you really need to go back and think harder about what it is that you want to achieve and what it is that you want out of life. Because if when you set goals they don't make you feel like that, then quite frankly, they're not big enough, at least in your eyes anyway. So you should really go back and reconsider what it is that you want to achieve and what you want to get out of life, right? Because if your goals don't scare you that much to the point where they make you feel physically sick, then you really need to reevaluate your goals. So with that, let's talk about setting goals that are a little bit too far-fetched. Now, I'll give myself a time frame for each and every goal. So for example, quitting monsters and quitting Zyn pouches this year, I could pretty much comfortably do that within the first 30 days, I believe. Now, when it comes to setting goals that are a little bit too far-fetched, because you can set micro goals like that, but I also want to set goals that are maybe a little bit too far-fetched as well, a little bit too out of reach. For example, the Hyrox flag. Now, will I get a Hyrox flag this year? Potentially not, and that's absolutely fine. But if I can be running Hyrox races in far better times than a 120 solo by the end of the year, then I'll be a very, very happy man. And I know that setting myself that goal of doing a sub 60 Hyrox or getting a Hyrox flag is going to get me to put the work in that may not get me to that goal, but will get me very, very fucking close. Similar to you right now, my YouTube channel. I would love to get to 10,000 subscribers this year. Like I said in the last video, I would love to get to 10,000 subscribers this year, but that's not the goal. That's not the goal. The goal that I've wrote down is 100,000 subscribers. I want to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of that year. Now, again, that is borderline realistic. It's not completely impossible because people would have done it in a much faster time frame than what I've even been on YouTube. I've set the goal of 100,000 subscribers because I know that the work in which I will do in order to try and get there may yield the original goal or the original desire of getting to 10,000 subscribers. Doesn't, then I'm going to be way further ahead than what I was at the start of the year. And that's absolutely fine. I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm fine with setting goals that I don't achieve. I like having goals that are a little bit too far-fetched, a little bit too far out of reach, because it makes me put the fucking work in order to get there. And therefore, I'll be progressing faster in life. So with that, your goal architecture, how do you set these goals? Now, each of these goals, like we spoke about, go into categories. Now, you don't just set the goal and be like, right, okay, this is the goal. Obviously, the goal is always going to be a binary outcome. So the goal has to be either achieved or not. It can't just be, well, I kind of achieved that. It's like, no, you either achieved it or you didn't. So you set this goal. The goal has to be a binary outcome. You then set the time frame for this goal. So that's either 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, or 12 months. So you almost put it into that short, medium, or long-term category. You then put a start date to this goal. So if you sat down at the back end of last year, then I suppose all your start dates of the goals will be, say, January the 1st. But they may not be, say, for example. So a lot of them will be, but my education goals, right? I want to complete Prescript Level 2. Now, Prescript Level 2 did not start January 1st. It will start in, I believe, is it February 24th, I want to say that I wrote down, something along the lines of that, right? So you have to obviously be realistic with these goals because that starts February the 24th. And I don't believe it ends until, it's a 16-week course, so it doesn't end until 16 weeks on from that day. So again, you've got to kind of be realistic with each and every one of these timeframes, right? But you've got to put a start date to it, mid-date check. So check midway through. So if it's for me, for example, I want to get 100,000 subscribers, right? That's pretty much, if I even get there, going to take the entirety of this year. So the start date to that goal is January the 1st. The midway checkpoint will be June,
And then the end date, set the end date for it as well, will be December the 31st. So you kind of get the point there. You get a start date, you get a midpoint check, and then you get the end date set in for that particular goal. You then write out the weekly non-negotiable of what it is you need to do in order to achieve that goal. So I want my YouTube channel to get to 100,000 subscribers. What do I need to do in order to get there? Well, I'm going to be posting 2 videos per week, each and every week, throughout the entirety of this year. That's the weekly non-negotiable in which I need to do in order to achieve that. Again, I have my midpoint check, right? So if I'm posting twice a week and it's not quite getting me towards that 100,000 subscribers, or at least I'm a little bit behind on schedule, then I really need to reevaluate that, right? What do I do from there? Do I post a little bit more frequently? Do I go 3-4 times a week? Or is it the fact that I've tried posting twice a week and the quality of my uploads has actually gone down, and that's why I'm not growing in subscribers as much as what I thought I would? So do I need to actually condense that down and just make sure that I create one banger of a video per week? Again, that's what the midpoint check is for. You assess all that. And then lastly, you have a reward for if you achieve the goal, and you have a consequence for if you do not achieve that goal. I think, what did I say I was going to reward myself with if I hit 100,000 subscribers? I think a leg sleeve, right? I said a leg sleeve because one of my goals for, it's another goal, but I basically said if I achieve that, I'll get a full back tattoo, right? I'll take myself to Bali and get a full back tattoo. I think for 100,000 subscribers, I said, right, I'll go to Bali and I'll book in 2 days back to back to get a full leg sleeve, right? And then the consequence, I can't quite remember what the consequence was for that. I've got it all in my notes on my phone, but one of the examples in which I'll give you is I want to read a book each and every month of this year. So I want to finish at least one book for each and every month this year. So throughout the space of this year, I want to finish 12 books, right? Now, the reward for that, because obviously the end date for that is going to be December 31st. The reward was, right, okay, if I complete that goal, I get to join in on the boys' Christmas Eve night out. Each and every year, we have a little pub called Christmas Eve. I absolutely love it. It's one of the highlights to my year. If I complete 12 books by that point, I will reward myself with joining in on the Christmas Eve pub crawl with the boys. If I don't achieve that goal, then the consequence is I miss out on it completely. You kind of get the point I'm making there. There's got to be a reward and a consequence for each and every goal, because then that makes it a little bit more fun, right? Adds a little bit more pressure, and maybe with a reward you actually work harder in order to get there. I mean, fucking hell, I'd love a leg sleeve and a whole back piece. I'd love to be covered in tattoos. So, well, if I achieve these major goals and I get to reward myself with things like that, then I'm going to be hungrier to achieve that goal, right? Now, of course, these rewards, they could just be silly little things, right? Like maybe treat yourself to some new gym clothes, a new pair of runners, whatever it may be. And the consequences, well, they could be as extreme or as tame as what you like, really. That's ultimately everything there when it comes to achieving goals. Like I said, I think they're great, especially if you're someone watching this right now that's come into this year lacking fulfillment, lacking direction in life, feeling like you have no purpose day to day. If that is the case, then set goals. Get yourself into a room that's completely quiet, no distractions whatsoever. Just sit there with a pad and a pen and write out what it is that you want to achieve, or what comes to your mind, or what it is that inspires you. Because I think with the world is full of distractions nowadays, and you could be set off track from what it is that you truly want. Whether you're scrolling and you're seeing these like young fucking entrepreneurs driving around Lamborghinis, this, that, the other, you may think, oh no, I need to become a digital nomad now and drive around a Lamborghini in Dubai, because that's what every other entrepreneur seems to be doing nowadays. Like, no, what is it that you actually want to achieve? What is it that inspires you? What's going to get you out of bed each and every morning? What's going to get you working as hard as you've ever worked before? Just get yourself into a room that's quiet, no distractions, and just have a real think about what it is that you want to achieve, what inspires you. And from there, write down the goals in which you set out. Again, write the start date, the end date to them goals, the weekly non-negotiable, the reward and the consequence. Write that in a book, a completely separate book, and just keep that book at your desk, and then review that each and every month. Just take a look at it each and every month. Give yourself that direction going into this year. Wake up with them actionables to do each and every day. Wake up knowing what you need to do in order to get to where you want to be. So I hope that helped, and that's everything from me. Any questions at all, please do leave a comment below, or you can find me on Instagram and you can drop me a DM. But take care, and I'll see you in the next one.